But mental health today is broken because of this emotionally weak, fragile mentality. We become so sensitive, so sensitive to everything. Now, sensitivity is good, but being in control of your emotions is also good. I can't just say, look, I had a bad day, I'm depressed. You're not depressed, you just had a bad day. I'm depressed, my loved one left me. Oh, you've had a bad love story in your life right now. You're not depressed. Clinical depression is very, very different from the way people go around labeling themselves as depressed. Now look how children are talking. Oh, my mom, this happened today, I'm depressed. You mean you're depressed? Your teacher pulled you up for not doing your homework. Focus on the fault. You didn't do your homework. Don't focus on how are you feeling this way, Luke? The teacher said this and my child is bad. Let's go back. Was the teacher right or wrong? The teacher was right, but my son is feeling this way. You see, the point is we're making excuses for the wrong things because we're scared of taking the right action. We're trying to conform and grow more and more people who are all like, let's react to this. Mental health has to be built on a foundation which starts from the parents modeling it. We can't. If a parent goes home and is emotionally all the time, what do you think the child's going to do? You may give them a pep, not you, hypothetical.
No,
someone may give them, just anyone. We may go to them, give them a pep talk that be kind, be grateful. But then they see us in our conversations with other people not doing the same. The lesson is broken. We have to model it. Our teachers have to model it. Schools have to model it. And eventually society has to model it. We're teaching our children stuff. And then we're allowing them to watch trash TV programs, which breaks every part of the lesson you're trying to teach them. Who's going to win? The TV show, dopamine, the way it's presented, the kind of people they use, the language, it's going to win. We're not going to win.
But you cannot win social media.
Exactly. So what we need to do is realize what is the time of the in life that we expose them to social media. See, I'll tell you something, I talk at YPOs around the world and all of that. Every chapter is very, very different. I'll never forget the New York chapter. All billionaires, okay? The first YPO when no one wanted to talk about weight loss, health, they were super fit people. So they had just one issue, social media.
Wow.
You have everything in the world, but that's destroying their life and their children's life. Now, the point is, I can't say social media is a bad thing.
Correct.
It is always the person who's using it.
Correct.
Like, I can't say alcohol is bad. It's the person who's using it. My 101-year-old patient will still have a peg of whiskey every night and has no disease, is 101, compared to people who are 20 and 30. The problem is not the alcohol. The problem is the person behind the bottle. How much I abuse it, how much I drink, I don't know my boundaries, wrong intentions of drinking. I'm drinking because I need to be cool. I'm drinking only because when I'm high, I can have conversation, because otherwise I'm so spoiled by social media, I don't even have social skills anymore. You see? So social media is not the problem. You've taken it and you've built something beautiful out of it. Other people take it and it destroys their life. Everyone can't be on social media. Sometimes I get really sad when I see a lot of people on social media, look, I'm in depression, I'm clinical depression and this. And my first question is, you're in the wrong place, firstly. You're not supposed to be on social media. Please understand. That's going to make you more depressed. You're already in the wrong mindset and you're seeing crap. It's going to make you more depressed. So when it comes to that, we can't change these things. But at the right age, if you start teaching your children, you can't even tell your children social media is bad. You tell them it's bad, they want to watch it more. Like a lot of parents, never watch pornography, never do this. Do you think the child's going to wait to watch it? But you teach them. There is this. You are going to see pictures of naked men and women at some time. It is going to happen. And now you get a chance to explain and educate them on what it is, rather than creating fear. Like I'll say it openly, like parents come, look, my son said the F word. I say, so what? They're listening to it in music,
Correct.
Unconsciously seeing it. Why are you making it? Take the thrill out of it. Sit them down and teach them there is a word called fuck. Okay? This is a word that you don't use. It's disrespectful. When you hear it, take the thrill out of it. You take the thrill out of it, it doesn't become interesting to a child. You talk to your 12-year-old kid about marijuana, joints and stuff that they need to. Rather than the wrong people teach them, you've taken the thrill out of it. Children are smart. They still may want to try it, but there will always be consciousness and awareness. I remember my dad, because we we lived abroad, and when we came to Goa, this was 30, 35, 40 years ago, it was the hippie time. Everyone was rolling joints at the hippie time. My dad was like, oh, shit, the culture, like, you're living in the culture, so you're more susceptible to getting into it. And my dad comes home and he rolls a joint, sits at the table and says, come on, this is a joint, this is this. I was probably in, I don't even know, maybe 11 or 12. He just took the thrill out of it.
Wow.
So when my friends started rolling, I was like, what's the big deal about this? Everyone's running and, the thrill was out of it. You know what I mean? It made so much of sense that rather than create a fear around it, because you're in a society where there is alcohol, there is drugs, there is sex, there's everything. So rather than operating from a space of fear, sit them down, consciously teach them about these things, take the thrill out of it, and then you create communication where they will come and they'll say, hey, Dad, I did see something. There were like 2 people, they had no clothes on and they were doing inappropriate stuff. Sit them down rather than, who's that kid? Let me go. It's school. How is this happening? Down. Yeah, this is real. This is life. This thing happens. And then you get a chance to educate them on it. And I'm telling you, this is the job of parents to do it. And if you can't do it, maybe every parent can't do it. I'm not here to say that. Then you go to a counselor who can teach them that. Or maybe use the grandparents who can teach them. You know what I mean? Use someone to teach them. Not everyone has that ability and that skill.
But what age are we talking about?
So I'm a fan of the subconscious mind. I'm a student of Dr. Bruce Lipton, so I will always talk about that. From the time the child is born till 8 or 9, their subconscious mind is like a sponge. You get to program it with what they want. So you put the right stuff in, it's for life. They may still try stuff, but you're driven by what was in. You teach them the wrong stuff, it's going to be their life. So you tell a child they're stupid, they're ugly, they're horrible, no matter how pretty and smart they may grow up to be, they will always feel that way because it's in the subconscious mind. You can't change it. At any age, you can reprogram, but you get what I mean. Yeah. So 0 to 8 to 9. Now, the beauty is if you've allowed your child's imagination to unfold, like you allow them, like my daughter still believes in fairies and pixies and God, that's imagination, they're still programmable. But if you like, hey, Santa Claus is not real, this is not real, that's not real, you've already started putting layers. Their conscious mind is growing stronger. You're losing out on a chance to program them.
Wow.
So I'm open about these things. When my daughter was 4, she could listen to me. She went, I've thought of every possible bad word. She knows every possible bad word that you would hear in a song or that a child would say in school. Everything. She knows the word, how it sounds, how it looks. Okay, not possibly what it means, but how it's also disrespectful. So today when she says, hey, Dad, to some parents came because someone said fuck in school or whatever, like it. She knows it. She's educated on it. We don't have to do everything because the world's changing. Now, probably 30 years ago, I wouldn't do it at age 3. I've had sex education in detail with her, every single thing. How are babies made? What's going to happen? Because children learn. They're very curious. You involve them.
Young age, like 6, 7?
Absolutely. Because you know what? They're going to get the wrong answer or an answer which is distorted from a person who's not their parent. So you teach them. You teach them. Go back to the time we were in school. You always had 2 or 3 students who knew it all, who were allowed to watch all programs, and they were the cool people. They knew everything and stuff. We looked up to them to learn because we looked at them in awe. But that's the wrong source of learning. So as parents, we get to teach them all of that stuff. And then children start to ask the right questions. They start to relate. They are such intelligent creatures. It's insane. So involve them. Like I don't teach my daughter, don't have Coca-Cola, don't have junk. No, they are going to do it. You educate them about it. That a lot of people have it. Yeah, taste it. Now this is the bad
food.
Now would you like to put this in your body? Make them give you answers rather than telling them, if you put this, you'll get cancer. If you put this, you'll get diabetes. And then when they realize, they start to relate towards it.
Correct.
You can't tell people, people pay me, like they bring their children. They take a consult and this is when I get really angry. There's no disease. You need to tell them to stop drinking Coke. Okay, the money is easy, but sorry, that time needs to go to a patient who really needs it. That's your job as a parent. And I'm not going to tell them. You want me to teach them and encourage them and stuff? I'll do it. But are you going to model the same thing at home? Or are you going to say, when they drink the next, Luke told you not to drink. Rather than, you know what I mean, right? The system's broken.
No, absolutely.
So this is what I mean by it's possible,
to program at that young age.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every generation has been messed up in some way or the other, and it has its goodness as well. But the current generation that we have below us should not become products and victims of social media and the wrong messages.
Right.
And the wrong messages.
So I'll talk about social media. Before that, I want to explain a situation. So, at home, I had an argument with my wife. My 6-year-old saw that and then came to me and then said, why are you shouting?
Yeah.
I think the way that we are practicing is
Absolutely.
clearly replicated. And then he's asking, okay, so, why are you shouting now? What did he do?
Yeah.
This is not right. So modeling to our kids is a huge thing. And that comes to the sex question. We are on social media.
Yeah.
And the kids are on social media. What is your take on digital detox?
I just want to go back to a simple point. See, arguing with a spouse, all of that it's normal. And sometimes kids have to see it so that they don't believe that everything in life is perfect. But what you do out of that, it's beautiful how the kid comes and asks. So I teach parents to do this, and I personally do it as well. Ask your children for feedback sometimes. They come up with the most insane, and then they feel involved that, oh, my dad asked. And say like, yeah, I had this argument. Yeah, maybe I could have been calmer. What do you think I should have done? My daughter will say, hey, you can speak kindly. You can speak whatever. Now they feel involved in the process, and you're only building a better bond with them. Because the point is, of course, we're going to fight. Of course, everyone is. We can't also show children that everything's perfect, and then tomorrow they get into a relationship and there's a fight and they're like, they don't know what to do. But they grew up parents, but they also see how we reconcile. They also see how we apologize to one another. So we get to teach them that's life. It can't be perfect for them, right? So coming to digital detox, I think it's the most, like I said, we can't be off social media, but I think a couple of, it was last year, we did a digital detox. We had millions of people from around the world.
Correct.
Just 7 or 8 days, everyone off social media completely. We moved into a Telegram group just to be a support function, just remind people. By day 2, you even wonder why you were ever on social media. See, it's dopamine at the end of the day. It's dopamine at the end of the day. So I'm saying be on social media, but be mindful and conscious. And one day in a week, can you be off it completely? Because then you're not allowing addiction to happen. Or 5 hours a day. Fine, my work may be 5 hours a day on social media. How can I bring it down to 4 hours a day? How can I make sure that when I'm going on social media, I'm going with intention? I'm not going, if I'm going without intention, scrolling is obvious.
So tell me an intention example.
So an intention, I'm going on social media because I want to learn from this person who posted on testosterone. Now I go over there and stuff like that. Or my friend says, hey, we got married, please check out our pictures. I go over there. And I'm also mindful that the feed is now going to throw me similar stuff. But is that what I want? No. So consciousness. If I'm going in with the intention to see who wore that at a party, who's doing this, which fad, you're just going to be pulled. The system wins. So I think a digital detox also helps us realize that there is a real world besides social media. And that's what happened in the 7 days. People were like, my own team were like, I don't want to come back on social media. Our patient, we don't want to. So I said, if you don't want to, you don't have to. But at the same time, if you have to, can you create these mini detoxes? Like on the weekend. Why do you need to be on social media on the weekend? And maybe it's your only free time, so you want to. Then select a Tuesday and Wednesday in a week. Or start off with one day. Or start off with everyone's phone tells you how much of time you spent on social media. Put that as your target. This week, I want to bring it down from 6 hours to 5 hours. Baby steps. Baby steps. But everything is intention. And the point is, we've learned as a community, we can't be okay without doing anything. You're even waiting for a bus, you're waiting for a train, the phone is on. You're waiting to get off an air flight, everyone's on the. The point is, I'm not judging anyone, I do it too. But my point is, with mindfulness, we realize how addicted we've become. We want that dopamine to continue. So a digital detox makes you self-realize that, hey, there are so many other things I can do. So in that 7 days, when thousands of testimonials poured in, we asked people, what did you do? People started spending more time with their kids, with their loved ones. Some went for treks. And they will realize, by immersing yourself in nature, people realize that I really like this. So they found other things to do other than just social media. So I recommend a digital detox, all of us. I'm not here to preach 7 days, 10 days, 5 days. Start off with a day and see how it feels. It feels incredible. And the best thing is find a group of people. It's always nice to do it with someone. So you feel motivated. I think it really worked because there were 1 million+ people doing it together. So everyone knew that. And we would check, how are you feeling today? And someone would say, I'm feeling amazing. Then other people, yes. Oh, I put it on by mistake, but I got off completely. So, you feel accountable to one another. And you just feel, I'm not doing it alone. So it's nice as a baby step to start off, but I believe a digital detox will be
for the kids as well?
Everyone. The kids more.
Kids more.
I mean, adults can't handle it. So imagine kids. Right? I mean, it's the dopamine, and people are burning dopamine. And that's the bigger scare of it. Because you're burning so much of dopamine. What happens when we have less dopamine? We don't feel inspired. We're bored. We need something to happen. You know, I'll tell you an inspiring case during the COVID. Okay, I had a family that came to me. I mean, of course, on Zoom, and their 3-year-old child was detected and almost put into a broad spectrum autism. Okay, I looked at the child, all of that stuff. I said, yeah, whatever, you know, and then in the diagnosis, the child is on the iPad for 9 hours a day. 9 hours a day. So I told the parents, I said, listen, you can take your diagnosis, you know, from your professional in autism. I said, give me a week, okay? Whether your child has autism or not, 9 hours on an iPad. Because we saw social skills. He could not even communicate with humans anymore. He was imitating like Peppa Pig and all of that stuff from the iPad in his daily life. It was becoming him. Remember, the subconscious mind, programmable. The parents said, we'll do anything. They took away the iPad. Dealt with tantrums for 2-3 days. 9 days later, every single symptom disappeared. Wow. He would have been put into a bucket of broad spectrum autism.
Wow.
But you know, I mean, this was an inspiring story. The child's grown up, social skills have come back, all of that. Parents have realized that because COVID, no one knew what to do. How do you keep your children busy?
Correct.
But now, what does that teach us? You go into any case of autism, okay? They're not all the same. But your iPad time plays a huge difference and role in them.